It's Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference Women's Basketball here on the Cougar Sports Network. Alongside Carter Gledhill, I'm Ryan Fahey in this NACC action on this Thursday night. And Carter, both teams kind of going in opposite directions coming into action tonight. We'll start with the Cougars, who are up at Concordia, Wisconsin, who we're going to be seeing next Friday in the CIT. But nevertheless, though, a bit of a rough loss that they had there a couple of days ago.
Yeah, it wasn't something that the Cougars want to forget, especially. But, you know, like you mentioned, they get another chance coming into CIT in a week, and they're going to get some redemption. But big highlight out of that game is Tara Hastings. Freshman, like always throughout the year, has been pulling it out for the Cougars. She finished the game with 15 points, 1 rebound, and was 2 for 3 from deep. And she's going to be carrying this offense again tonight for sure.
She's been one of the offensive leaders for this team, and not to mention, even when we go back to the last time we saw them here inside the Geisman Gymnasium against Aurora University, boy, that was a heart-pounding game that Wednesday night, just 8 nights ago.
Yeah, we were on the edge of our seats throughout that whole broadcast. The Cougars were up 34-33 at halftime. The Spartans went on a little run late in the fourth quarter, and it came down to the wire. But the Cougars, one of the struggles that's been all season, came evident all night, was the free throws. They were 6 for 15 from the free throw line, and with
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well, but it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that, and it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
So as we welcome you back here on the CU Cougars pregame show here on the Cougar Sports Network alongside Carter Gledhill, I'm Ryan Faze. We're getting you set for action on a Thursday here inside the Geisman Gymnasium. And just as kind of we were, getting set here to get set for tip-off, Carter, as we flip to the other side of the coin for the Lakeland Muskies, you can't let the record fool you overall. 6-7 overall this season. Not the greatest start for them, but here we are now. They're 6-2 in the conference so far.
Right, they started off the season with a 6-game losing streak, but they come up hot lately. 3-game win streak coming into the Geisman Gymnasium tonight, and that's a big part because of the 6'3" forward Megan Will, 13.4 points a game, and she's averaging 8 boards as well. She's been really the light in an offense that hasn't been really high scoring as of late.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what height you say for her, because either way, she brings height to this Muskie team that has won 3 games in a row coming into action today. Just a couple of days ago when they were hosting Alverno, it was a 71-50 victory back on Tuesday on their home floor. 3 players in double figures scoring. You had Janae Farr along with Megan Will and Casey Gardner getting into the double digits column. And this is a team, as you mentioned, they're not a high-scoring offense, but they are a very disciplined defensive team.
And that's one thing that you get usually if you don't get a high-scoring offense. You get that defensive side, and it's going to be a challenge for the Cougars. They've really struggled with throughout the season, the good defensive teams, but it's going to be something that we mentioned, a young team throughout the year. We've already seen maturity through them on the offensive side of the ball, and they're going to need to improve again tonight if they're going to pull out a victory against the Muskies tonight.
And you talk about maturity. I mentioned this on our broadcast that we had last Wednesday, 8 nights ago, when they took on Aurora. You can't let the record really fool you to how this team is going to come out and attack you. This is a young team, but they are also hungry, and they're also very competitive through the 40 minutes of action.
And 67% of their points have come off of freshmen this year, and that's, like we mentioned before, Tara Hastings, we're always mentioning her name. Bailey Steinkamp coming up late and really filling in for them. And Charisma Robinson, kind of like an unsung underdog for this team. 4th in the NACC in steals, has really been that fire on the defensive side for the Cougars. So the freshman leading the way, but it's always there. We got the veterans like Annika Ray, who's been fantastic, and she finished with 8 points in their last game against CU Dub. And it's going to be an all-around effort from the whole Cougars team on both the offensive defensive side of the ball to win tonight.
Fans, as a reminder, the 69th annual Concordia Invitational Tournament is just around the corner. Don't miss your chance to be a part of this special 2-day event. And to get more information and to save yourself a few bucks, go to cucougars.com/CIT. That's cucougars.com/CIT to get your tickets today. Now, Carter, before we get to tip-off, and we'll send it over to the public address announcer and Jim Egan for our national anthem, which will be performed by the CU Cougars band that's in the house tonight, along with getting our starting lineups for both squads. Let's look at some of your keys tonight for a Cougars victory.
One of the first things that jumped out of my mind is we've seen this team really improve on the defensive side. They're 32nd in the nation, 1st in the conference on turnovers forced in games, averaging about 23 a game. But one thing that they need to improve on is the points off turnovers. They've only averaged about 20 of points off off turnovers this year, and if they're going to want to compete late in the game, those turnovers are going to be critical. Along with that is the free throws especially.
This is also a team in Concordia, Chicago that is ball hungry. And what I mean by that is they are tops in a lot of the departments, not just in the conference, but even getting into the Division III national rankings in terms of steals too.
Yeah, and they've been phenomenal all year. Like we mentioned, 32 in the nation, and it's just going to come down to the end. We've mentioned it off camera too. The idea of empty possessions. Anytime that they get the ball off a turnover or they get the ball in general, they can't go without making it. They can't go out without putting up a shot. They can't turn the ball over as often as they usually did in the open possession. Because like we've seen throughout the season, you're going to get tougher competitions, and if you're going to want to win these late games, it's going to be crucial that those empty possessions are eliminated.
One of the other things, too, if we go back to that game that we saw on Wednesday against Rogue, when we saw them in person, was the performance of Jaylene Way. We haven't really seen much of her since that game back on that Wednesday night 8 nights ago, but seemed to me from that perspective of it, what she brought to the table wasn't, you expected offense from her in that game, but she brought it on those 4 threes that she had. Both teams finishing up their pregame warm-ups, and the teams will be set to line up as well for our national anthem. The referees for our contest tonight here inside the Geisman Gymnasium are Dawn Stewart, Jonathan Patterson, and Chad Ozzie.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to as we honor America, the men and women of our military, and our first responders.
Jim Egan for our national anthem.
For the playing of our national anthem, which will be performed tonight by the Concordia Cougar Band.
Ryan, go to the band. All right, go to the band.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Lakeland University for tonight's early athletic collegiate conference women's basketball contest between the Huskies of Lakeland University and the Cougars of Concordia University, Chicago. Let's meet tonight's starters. First for the visiting Huskies. At guard, 5'6" junior from Crystal Falls, Michigan, number 1, Abby Nyland. At guard, 5'5" senior from Peshtigo, Wisconsin, number 4, Amanda Majewski. At guard, 5'5" senior from Racine, Wisconsin, number 10, Rachel Pasco. At guard, 5'6" sophomore from Evergreen Park, number 20, Casey Gardner. And at forward, a 6'3" junior from Lakeland, Wisconsin, number 55, Megan Will. The assistant coaches are Amber Peterson, Lauren Sharp, Jackie Kriegel, and Jasmine Borgman. And the head coach of the Huskies is Aaron Wester. And now, the starters for your Concordia Chicago Cougars. And forward, the 5'10" senior from Anaheim, California, number 3, Annabelle Ray. At forward, 5'9" freshman from Broadview, number 1, Charisma Robinson. Steinkamp. And that card, number 6 senior from Overland Park, number 25, Michaela Cortez.
So as we get set here for kickoff, the head coach for your Concordia Chicago Cougars, Lauren Martin, in her second season with the program. Aaron Nestor in his 5th. A win today ends a 4-game losing streak for Concordia Chicago. Be the 4th win in a row as well over Lakeland, as the Cougars have had the hot hand as of late over the Muskies the last couple of seasons. And, of course, it would be Lauren Martin's first win then as head coach of the Cougars over the Muskies as well. You'll be seeing the Muskies in the Road Navy blues with the yellow numbers and letters. And the Concordia Chicago Cougars in their home whites with the gold trim numbers and letters to correlate. You'll be seeing the Muskies going right to left here on your screen, and the Cougars left to right. Megan Will at the tip for the Muskies, number 55, and Charisma Robinson, number 1, at the tip for CUC. 10 minutes on the clock for our opening quarter, as the Cougars looking to get off the snide of this 4-game losing streak here inside the Geisman Gymnasium, and away we go on this Thursday night. This is a team in Concordia, Chicago, 2-10 overall, 1-7 in conference play. While despite Lakeland being under 500, they're 4 games above 500 in the NACC, as this right corner 3 is up, and it is drained. Nothing but net. Casey Gardner, the sophomore, gets the Muskies starting off with a nice 3 early on here.
You could see already on the defensive side, Michaela Thornton, the only thing that really can go is when you get a big body like Megan Will in the paint is a face guard, and that's going to be something that they're going to be working all night, whether it's kicking it to the 3 like we just saw there from Gardner or pitching it in for Will, the leading scorer.
Bailey Steinkamp with control, 10 on the shot clock. As the ball, they try to work it inside. Ball is loose and stolen. Coming up with that is Amanda Majewski in control the other way. Work now to the left angle, 3-ball up. That's off back iron, no good. And the rebound controlled by Charisma Robinson. She pushes the floor. Robinson, left angle drive, and she scores.
And that's one thing that she's been really good at throughout the year, has been that burst off the ball. Anytime she gets it, she's been really great in transition for the Cougars.
And she's going to get a steal off that. Had a fingertip on it off the initial feed into the front court. And now she'll settle things down. Almost walked, and she let it go wisely for being a freshman. That's a veteran move. As now it's Annika Ray to the top of the circle. 3-ball up, Bailey Steinkamp, front of the rim, no. And Tara Hastings hustling for the offensive board. 20 resets on the shot clock. Hastings getting it right back as it works now to Robinson. Ray driving, poked away. Will was standing there defensively, and coming up with it was Gardner. The sophomore from Evergreen Park, Illinois, Casey Gardner, with her only points from the side of Lakeland so far. Rachel Haskell feeding inside for Megan Will, and we're going to be seeing a lot of that. The only scorer for the Huskies in double digits so far, averaging this season at just over 13.
And you can see it's really easy to just pitch the ball in there for her.
Left corner 3 on the far side from Tara Hastings is no good. 5-2 here early on, just a couple of minutes played in our opening quarter. Gardner with the left-hand dribble as it goes off now to the far side for Nyland. Driving baseline. She'll spin inside, shot up, back iron, no. Ball is loose, and it's controlled by Annika Ray. The senior from Anaheim, California, pushing the floor. Finds Charisma Robinson, and it will go out of bounds, but there's also a foul called on top of it. That's the foul there's going to go on Abby Nyland. That'll be her first, the junior from Crystal Falls, Michigan. And for Nyland, this is her 70th game in her time with Lakeland, as Morgan Zeno comes in number 40, along with number 14, Haley Walding. As coming out is Rachel Haskell and Abby Nyland. Megan Will also came out in place, as also checking on in there was number 40, Morgan Zeno. I should say Janae Farr was the third substitution for her. As off the offensive rebound, the shot attempt too strong. Robinson falls hard down to the floor trying to pick up the scraps. As we're seeing here as the foul there goes on Casey Gardner. You know, even with the Cougars, who can often, more often than not, have the best defensive efforts when you see the final box score, but they are fighting for every possession regardless if a shot is made or not.
And that's something that we've seen throughout the year from Coach Martin, is really just teaching aggressiveness and heart and desire. It's something that we've seen grow throughout the year, and one spark like that can really turn everything around for the Cougars in this game.
Steinkamp tried to hook it to the left angle for Ray, but that's stolen away. As in transition, right side layup is going to get the roll for Janae Farr, the junior from Racine, Wisconsin. She started her first game against Alverno. That's out of bounds. It'll stay with CUC as we have under 7 minutes to go here in the opening quarter, with Madeline McGrath now coming on in to replace Bailey Steinkamp. Just to finish up there with Janae Farr, she's 28% shooter from the field so far this year. Also a Conference Scholar Athlete Award a season ago. McGrath inside, turnaround free throw line. Jumper gets the friendly roll off the front of the rim for Michaela Thornton.
And she's been fantastic in the paint too. Not as big as Will, but she really just poses a threat because of her jump shot ability. That's really good when you get to that the free throw line and the 15-point mark outside too.
Gardner feeds it to Majewski as this turnaround shot, and almost mishandling it at first there was Zeno, the sophomore from Twin Lakes, Wisconsin, but either way it's 9-4 Muskies. Robinson, left angle, floater, too strong. That misses everything, but she does save it, and the Cougars keep possession. Carter mentioned the aggressiveness and hustling for those second chance opportunities. Now it's a matter of just trying to convert them. 10 on the shot clock for Robinson. Baseline pass, that found nobody, but instead it finds Haley Walden. Hustling in the backcourt there with Thornton just to try to get a little piece of that action. Right corner again, that three ball is no good from Janae Farr. But the Muskies get control once again. Zeno's offensive rebound gets it over to Gardner. Gardner left angle, swing pass, tipped by Robinson out of bounds. And once again it'll stay with the Muskies, and 11 on the shot clock. As we'll have a substitution for each side as Crystal Core comes in for CUC. And Abby Nyland comes back in for Lakeland. And another substitution as well as Jaylene Wade now will come in for Annika Ray. And we know what Wade can bring to the table. We especially saw it in that contest on Wednesday against Aurora.
And you can see checking in right now, Crystal Core, she's only 2 rebounds shy of becoming the 4th player in program history with 200 career rebounds. So looking for another history-breaking performance tonight.
At the shot clock there, the three is no good at the top of the circle by Walding, but another opportunity here as the possession stays alive for Lakeland. Farr. No one left off for Walding, who missed that three a moment ago. It's Garner losing the handle. Still can't get it. 4 on the shot clock. Ball is loose. Hastings comes up with it. Hastings. No foul called as she took a hard fall to the floor. We continue on. Gardner, left corner. Farr, 3. That's good. So Farr sinks to 3. It's an 8-point lead for the visiting Muskies as Hastings now will swing it up to the top for McGrath. In now Robinson. Core. Wheels in the paint. Turnaround shot, no. And the rebound by Zeno.
Great move there by Core, though, using her body to get around the defender in the middle of the paint. That's something that you see from her a lot in her offensive game because she has been dealing with injuries early on in the year, but she looks like she's been getting better throughout the year.
9-2 run here for the Muskies the last 4.5 minutes as that throw is way out of bounds. And it'll go back to Concordia, Chicago. Megan Long now will come into the ball game to replace Michaela Thornton. Rachel Haskell comes back into the game for Lakeland. And in addition to that is Lauren Downs, also checking in for the first time today. So Wade will bring it up with 4:20 to go here in the opening quarter. Long swing pass to Hastings now as it finds Core at the free throw line. Right angle 3, back rim no, and the rebound by Lauren Downs.
Great look there, though, by McGrath, just sitting out on the top, and that's just great vision, though, by Core, looking for someone in the open shot, too.
They wanted to find Will, and a nice read by Core. Long with the moves, kick out, Hastings, 3, yes ma'am.
And she's been so good from three-point throughout the year, and really, it's just an awesome way to just start the game off, too, in transition. That's something that we see a lot of the time the Cougars have been doing.
Hastings now turning defense to offense again, and it's a one-possession game. Well, you talked about Hastings in the pregame open, Carter. I mean, she kind of just does a little bit of everything for head coach Lauren Martin. As this one, ball loose at the half-court line. And what do we have? Going to be a jump ball, and the arrow goes to Concordia, Chicago.
Well, we've seen already throughout this game what happens when you get the energy, and you've seen the defensive play from the Cougars being the leader in conference in turnovers forced. That's something that they got to continue and not get tired out, but you'll see Coach Martin use substitutions a lot to keep the energy high and the bodies fresh on the court.
Yeah, tired legs is something Lauren Martin doesn't want to have, as Wade on the fake had her shot blocked, but picking up the pieces and cleaning up for her was Crystal Core.
And she's really been that senior leadership in the post and the height that the Cougars were missing at the beginning of the season, and it's really nice to see her come back and play so strong in the post as of late.
Ball was tipped out of bounds. Possession stays with the Muskies as we now have 3 minutes to go here in the first. Off that 9-2 run that the Muskies won on, the Cougars have answered here with 5 straight. As now to the left corner, Downs the 3. That's no good. Wade the rebound. Wade now leaves it off for long at the top. Hastings, who's got 5 first quarter points so far. Wade, 3 ball. We saw her do that a lot against Aurora. She made 4 then. She makes her first tonight right there.
One of the most impressive things I've seen out of a young guard as of right now is you saw the court vision she had when she came up. She didn't force any passes. She looked around for someone, and you see what happens when good possessions come from a good pass on the offensive side.
Megan Will there with the soft hit off the back rim to have that one fall, and we're tied up here with just over 2 minutes to go in our opening quarter.
You see right now Lakeland's playing in a zone that's something that the Cougars have struggled with so far. We've seen in pressure situations, but it looks like they've been getting better off of it as of late too.
Answering for a 3 from downtown, Madeline McGrath. 17-14 Cougars.
Making her playing time known. She's really made an impression on Coach Martin and really has shown how she should be in the starting lineup when they've been going through the hiccups already.
Hastings got called for the block there. As you get one more look at this 3 here from McGrath, with just 3 remaining on the shot clock. And you mentioned the energy, even seeing the bench along with Lauren Martin herself trying to keep the energy and the positive vibes there. As that was Hastings' first foul off that block, by the way, as this right angle 3 is too strong. And the rebound, pinballs for a moment, but instead McGrath will settle it down. 90 seconds now to play in our opening quarter as that one's poked away and stolen. Majewski gives it off now for Gardner, excuse me. Gardner driving. That's going to be a charge. Standing tall in the paint, Destiny Dye. It's Cougars ball.
Great job there. It's kind of hard when you see a guard coming at you fast, but she knew she didn't have the help that she wanted, so the best thing for her to do was just set up for the charge, and you see she just kept her feet flat. She didn't move and didn't lean in. Great job to take the charge there.
Perhaps numbers the other way as Dye goes for 3. That's way off. And the rebound to Gardner. Gardner with controls. We now have a minute to go. They look inside to Will. Misses the shot. Kind of a rare miss. As Will's very efficient inside as it's now settled down. Oh, and a kind of a hang time pass there. Too much air underneath it. As now it's far. Now Downs. She goes for a 3. That's off the mark. Dye controls it with 40. It's left off for Wade. As the Cougars here with an excellent opportunity to try to build some momentum going to the second quarter here, up by 3 already. Hastings looking to do that. That went off the side of the rim, no good. And the rebound by Gardner. Shot clock off as the Muskies can hold for the final possession should they choose to do so. 6 players on the scoreboard so far for CUC. 4 respective Muskies doing that for their side of things. With 5 to go in the quarter, pass inside for Will, and it's good. And the clock will wind on down, and that does it for the end of our first quarter of play. But the Muskies get within 1, and the Cougars have a 17-16 lead through 1 quarter of play. Your first quarter impressions there, Carter Gledhill.
We've seen the momentum on both sides of the Cougars. We saw them get off to a slow start, but when they got back into it, it was exciting. You can see how much momentum carries. The one thing that the Cougars need to work on, though, is just controlling the ball a little bit better and not forcing it where it doesn't need to be. You saw late, there were some turnovers there that was hard. And great shot here on the replay from Wade. Something that she's been doing really well is taking care of the ball. But just as a whole for the Cougars, it's just not forcing passes that don't need to be taken, because ball possessions can be very important against a good defensive Muskie team.
I want to thank our crew behind the scenes as well. Of course, alongside Carter Gledhill, I'm Ryan Fay with you on the call. Our producer today, is Shelby Spitz doing the graphics, and the replay that you just saw there is Julia Beers, and our camera operators for tonight's contest, Ryan McGee, Grace Miller, and Julia Spitelli. And of course, he's a very humble guy because he doesn't put his name on the sheet here that I have, but our director, CJ Sellner, up in the hole to our left. I know he's not going to look down at us, but nevertheless, the hard work and setup that this man put in for our broadcast tonight, and you're going to see for the CIT coming up next weekend, is something that is going to be one to behold, and kind of getting a preview of what we're going to be involved in, where we're going to be for next weekend, because I'm pumped for it. Are you?
Oh, yes, I'm pumped too. We have a little something planned for our Friday game. It's going to be exciting,
It's
so make
gonna
sure you
be-
tune in for that.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be loud. And if you can't come out, cucougars.com/CIT to get your tickets, because the Geisman Gymnasium, it may break sound decibel records here in River Forest.
It may as well. It might.
Second quarter now as we get underway for it. Lakeland will have control. And a note on one of the new players out on the floor for CUC. We'll mention it during the next dead ball as will get inside. Turnaround shot is up and good off the glass. So the Muskies get the lead back up by 1. So this is their first lead actually since there was about 7 minutes to go in the first. As on a nice move inside, Megan Long, the freshman from Dyer, Indiana, scores.
And she's got such a strong athletic build to her body, and the speed that she has is something that's just absolutely amazing to watch, as she's kind of like a hybrid between both forward and guard position.
To the left corner, that one was Majewski. She goes in for the baseline 2. That's too strong, and a whistle and a foul is going to go on a reach in there for Janae Farr. And I mentioned one of the new players out on the floor for the Cougars, the freshman Macy Klein. If you know that name, other than basketball, you may know her from being our pregame show host along with Carter. She checks in number 15 in white, the freshman from Fort Collins, Colorado. So we may get a little biased here, and I apologize in advance as she has the ball. I would tell her to shoot it just for my sake, but, you know, be a team player.
She looked good in warm-ups.
Yeah,
had
she
some good
did.
Shots.
She knocked down a few threes in warm-ups. As back to action here. It's going to be Macy Klein with the dribble, and we'll go off to Charisma Robinson. I'm ready to explode, actually, if she gets a shot. But, again, personal bias here for myself and Carter on that one. As the ball's on the floor with 5 on the shot clock, and we got a jump ball, and the arrow will stay with the Cougars with just 4 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Couple subs now for Lakeland as Rachel Hasso comes back out onto the floor along with Morgan Zeno as Farr and Will come on out. Robinson to have the inbound, or she was going to take it. Klein will do it instead. Baseline inbound with 4 on the shot clock, so it'll need to be something quick. As Long gets it off to the top. Long into the paint, feeds it off for Robinson, but it's going to be a tie-up and a shot clock violation. But not a bad idea there from Long, because she had a tight angle there to try to feed that one through, but there's that extra hand that came in courtesy of Haley Walden. So let's take control off the shot clock violation with the Cougars still up by 1. Gouger with us on this Thursday night inside the Geisman Gymnasium, and that hand there from Robinson stolen by Wade. It's a 2-on-2 the other way. Robinson can't finish. Ball still around and then controlled by Abby Nyland.
Well, you saw there that they went into a 2-1-2 zone there. It's something that Coach Martin's done throughout the years. Change up the defense because you know it's really hard to stay comfortable at times on the offensive side.
Another steal. This time Robinson finished successfully for 2.
Already got her 3rd steal of the night right now. She's absolutely killing it on the defensive side, flying around for Coach Martin and the Cougars.
Mentioned this is a Cougars team that leads the conference in just over 12 steals a game. They've already got 7 here in this first half, as this is out of bounds. It'll stay with Lakeland with 17 on the shot clock. Get one more look at this other steal here that was successful on the layup by Robinson. As now Lauren Downs comes back in for Lakeland. Haley Walden was the one that checked out. Inside they find Zeno. A bit of a high arcing little 2-footer goes in, and it's back to a 1-point game.
But you see how much the Muskies have really utilized finding the big man in the middle.
Macy Klein for 3. Oh, off the glass, no good. I was ready to actually start jumping, but then I realized where our tables that I may knock everything over.
Yeah,
and
I
know our director CJ may not appreciate that, as the right corner 3 is no good.
We'll get a new
And it's
table
good.
for CIT.
Yes. We were told we may. Wade now off the missed three. That shot was blocked by Zeno, and she comes away with a good defense by the 5'11 forward in Zeno as the Muskies look to push the floor. Downs, free throw line extended. That's short, and Long the rebound. Long, coast to coast. Oh, she wanted to find Klein, but that was behind her. And that's out of bounds to the Muskies with just over 7 minutes to go here in our first half as Tara Hastings and Michaela Thornton come back in as Klein comes out along with Megan Long. Now Wade also comes out as Annika Ray will step out onto the floor. Okay, we saw Wade really take over in that first quarter. Only saw, I believe, just the first 4 minutes of Ray in that first quarter of action. Otherwise, it was Wade's show. As this pass inside, another feed there for Zeno, who finishes to give the Muskies the lead. And you get a look there at the bench of head coach Aaron Nestor and the Muskies on that previous shot. That was a tip pass now as it finds Thornton at the right side. Step back, Long, two is good. Nifty move from Michaela Thornton.
Looking good. Light on the feet. Great move there from Thornton. We talked about her specialty in the short range.
Now to the right angle. It's a drive inside. Off the glass, no, but a foul as Haskell was going on in, the senior from Racine, Wisconsin. So the foul there is you'll get one last look at this step back. It's going to be a nice highlight reel. Look at that. Whew. That was nothing but net there. And again, you don't talk about the step back unless the shot was made. So it'll be a shooting foul here on the floor for Haskell. She's 15 of 21 at the line this year, 71% from the line so far this season. She had 9 points against Alverno in the win back on Tuesday. As that one misses everything. She's had over 22 minutes of action as well in the last 4 games she's played, as that one falls and we're tied at 23. Bit of a hot pass in for Ray, who handles it. Back rim, no. And the rebound by Zeno. Boy, Zeno's been a kind of a quiet hero here for Lakeland when Megan Will's been on the bench.
And you see that's the importance and that's what the luxury that Coach Nestor has. When you have 2 big players, you can switch them out because they do get tired.
Right on cue, Zeno with the offensive rebound, but she'll be at the line after missing. As the foul there goes on Michaela Thornton. And that'll be her first. And it'll make it the team's third. Zeno, a 43% free throw line shooter, 7 of 16 so far this year. She did get one start as she got a start against Wisconsin-Platteville back on December 20th. And one of her best overall games was a 9.9 rebound performance at MSOE back on January 4th. As she makes the second to give the Muskies a 1-point lead.
Interesting drop back for the Muskies here on the defensive side. Really like a mesh of a 2-3 zone.
Ray, turnaround shot, no. And the rebound by Majewski.
Little force there from Ray. I think she could have used a little extra dribble. I didn't think she realized she had a little more space than she usually did.
Gardner leaves it off for Downs in the near corner. Downs into the paint. Nice spin move inside and a nice little hook to make it a 3-point lead for the Muskies.
And that was a great move. You see her using the baseline to her advantage and then using the drop step on the pivot and just floating it up in there for the layup.
Now over with it is Haskell as they look to find Zeno again. That shot too strong, but a foul again.
And that's something that the Cougars are going to have to be working all night. As you saw, Thornton was fronting her on the side, but when we oh, there we go to a jump shot right there. Look at that.
Yeah, that was the hook there from Downs. A nice spin move in the paint from a few plays ago as Zeno's back at the line again. Zeno drains the first, so she's now 2 of 3 at the line so far. 7 points, 5 rebounds for her already, along with a block shot. As the second free throw is nothing but net. It's now up to a 5-point lead for head coach Aaron Nestor and the Lakeland Muskies as we now have under 5 minutes to play in the half. Steinkamp has that pass intercepted. That's Janae Farr. But then back to answer for a steal is Tara Hastings.
You just see great speed up the sidelines, helping out her teammate Steinkamp.
Long tried to dribble through 2 defenders, and there's going to be a reach-in that I believe they're going to get on Casey Gardner, and they do. Jalen Wade now comes back in along with Abby Nyland for the respective sides of CUC and Lakeland. That was Gardner's second, so she comes out. Or rather, third, excuse me. And thing for Gardner, too, she comes out with 3 fouls, Carter, but also has 6 turnovers here tonight so far. As Wade has it for Hastings, 15 on the shot clock, back to Wade. Crystal Core, back to Wade. Now it's Long, in for Core again. Good passing here as Wade, with 3 on the shot clock, finds Long for 3. That's good for Megan Long.
How about that? She's now 5 for 11 on the season from 3. Great job by Long on the open look and the late shot clock.
That one tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with Lakeland. And Long, you mentioned now she's 5 of 11. She was a 40% three-point shooter coming into action today. And you kind of see the calmness here with limited time on the shot clock as Long drains that 3 as well.
And a little extra celebration at the end of it from Long. But like you said, composure, and that's what happens when you just stay composed throughout the shot. Great job by Long there.
Megan Will now is back into the ballgame, number 55 in blue. Well, that pass inside. It looked like there Carter Nyland wanted it, but then took her eyes off the pass coming towards her.
And that's something we've seen from the Muskies on the offensive side is that you swing it out to the wing and someone's going to be cutting in on the baseline because they have such big bodies if you don't have one there.
We see now 21 combined turnovers, 11 for Lakeland, 10 for Concordia Chicago. As Wade leaves it in for Robinson at the free throw line. Now to the left angle. Long goes for another 3. Oh, and in and out, no good. And the rebound controlled by Megan Will. That would have given the Cougars back the lead had that been made. As Nyland feeds it, finds far to the far side, for lack of a better term, as this baseline jumper is up and good for Rachel Hasko. Now a 4-point lead for Lakeland here with under 3.5 to play in the half. Wade finds Long. Same spot she had that last 3-ball attempt on the last possession. As Robinson challenges Will, and she's fouled. She'll be at the line for a pair. And she'll try to cut this deficit back to 1 possession as Amanda Majewski will come back in. Again, Cougar basketball is brought to you in part by Lutheran Public Radio. Listen to sacred music anytime and anywhere at lutheranpublicradio.org or listen in on the LPR app. Robinson, a 50% free throw shooter this year. That hits off the back rim, so that'll decrease that percentage a little bit. In the game at Dominican about a week ago, she had 14 points, 7 steals against Dominican, the River Forest foe, if you will, as she makes the second, and that brings back in Madeline McGrath. So McGrath comes in, Robinson comes out. And Robinson exits with 4 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 steals in 11 minutes of action, as that one almost was taken away. Haskell barely held on as she looks to make up for it. That shot was wild and missed badly. As now the other way, it's McGrath. Wade to the left angle, finds Core inside against Megan Will. That's blocked by Megan Will, and that's just a 6'3" forward and with the long arms getting the block.
And 9 out of 10 times in games that we see, that bucket is going in, but it just so happens that it's the wrong night when you got that 6'3" body that's just got that such a long wingspan too.
Long trying to challenge the 6'3" Will, and that's going to be a blocking foul on Will.
And we've seen the Muskies adjust to Will pretty much throughout the game on the defensive side. She hasn't been really moving her feet, and that's why they've been setting into the 2-3 zone. It's something that the Cougars can exploit later on in the game because we've seen both Will and Zeno get tired very often.
So off the inbound, Hastings going to try to answer quickly for a 3. That's short. And Janae Farr gets control of the rebound. Haskell now, who's got 3 points and a couple of assists so far tonight, as we now have 2.5 minutes to play in the half. That one swatted away by Core, and it's nicely recovered by McGrath for a steal. Core settling it down for McGrath. Right angle drive, stops, finds Wade, who she wanted the 3 but backed out instead. A near bad pass is recovered by Hastings. Now Wade truly settles it down. 13 on the shot clock. Wade with 8. Wade to the right corner for Long. McGrath, top circle 3. That's short and left of the rim. Ball on the floor. And on the floor to recover that one there was Abby Nyland. As now to the left corner off the fake. Majewski driving. Shot no, but a foul. And that's going to be on Wade. Or rather, I should say, they're going to get that on McGrath. Either way, 2 free throws for Amanda Majewski, who is a 64% free throw shooter. She's got 4 assists, a rebound, and a couple of steals here tonight in 13 minutes of action. As that back iron shot is no good. And the second free throw is good. And Carter, you brought up a note coming into the game here today as Morgan Zeno comes in that Crystal Core was 2 rebounds away from a certain magic number.
Yes, she's 2 rebounds shy of 600 career rebounds. So congratulations now to Crystal Core as she becomes the 4th player in program history with 600 career rebounds.
We know she won't care about that at the moment, as now it's the aforementioned Core, but she traveled. Maybe she does know it was 600 rebounds. And
I bet
we're not that far off from the court here.
she definitely had some kind of knowledge of that probably before the game. She doesn't want to admit that she knows it, but she probably does.
Cougars down by 4. As Haskell now at the right wing has it, leaves it in, and with a nice couple passes to find Morgan Zeno. And it's back to a 6-point lead for Lakeland. They tied their biggest lead of the night. Now it's Wade for Hastings. Wade again as we now have 15 on the shot clock and a minute to go in the half. Core inside, shot up and good.
And there she got it over. She got it over 40 Zeno now there, but great job just on the reverse and great feed in there too.
Perimeter passing as Haskell raises up for 3. That's no good off the glass, and the rebound controlled by Megan Long. Up ahead for McGrath. That one poked away. Ball alive, no call. It's the clock now. Ball up for Majewski. Right corner, Janae Farr as the shot clock expires and banks it in off a tough angle to end our first half of action.
Tough way to end the half there if you're the Cougars. That was a great defensive stand, and it took a little bit from the backboard to go in there, but you got to say that was a great defensive stand as of late from the Cougars as they've improved since the beginning of the first quarter on their shooting and defense.
36-29, Muskies lead up to 7. We'll take our halftime break, and we'll get you set for second half action and a whole lot more as the Cougars look to come back in the second half next here on the Cougars Sports Network.
call turnovers. That's something I said.
As we get set for second half action, you see on your screen 36-29, the Lakeland Muskies have a 7-point lead. Muskies very efficient from the field, 50%, 25 from downtown, while Concordia a little bit down in the field goal overall department, but they have shot a little bit better from three at just over 28%. And you see the rebounds and assists pretty close within one another alongside Carter Gledhill. I'm Ryan Fahey. 23 combined turnovers, though, that you don't see on the team stats here, but that's kind of been one of the other things we've seen. A lot of good passing at times on some possessions, but it's been a little bit of sloppiness and miscommunication, too.
And a lot of it's just been rushing on the offensive side, especially for the Cougars. They've been getting really good looks at times, but we've seen in the fast break where they're coming and they're getting so excited to get the ball that the passes and the quality of shots that they're making, it's not as something that you would want to see, especially when you're playing from behind and against a good defensive team. If you're able to get them off in the ropes a little bit on their heels, if you make the quality shots and you just think a little bit more before you pass, they're going to be fine. So as long as the Cougars think a little bit more, they'll be okay in transition.
In the department of steals, it's 9-8 in favor of Concordia Chicago, but those 9 steals have led to 9 fast break points compared to Lakeland only having 2.
And Hastings and Robinson have combined for 6 of those 9 steals for the Cougars. They've been playing great so far, and it's going to be important that those 2, as we've seen, they've led a lot of the fast break points as well, is keeping the Cougars in transition, and they got to keep pushing the offense because we've seen the Muskies aren't a particularly fast team as they usually just thrive in the 2-3 zone.
And one of the other things, too, that we saw in the first half of play for, for Lakeland, rather, their bigs inside, Morgan Zeno and Megan Will, for them coming into the second half of play, respectively, or I should say rather combined, it's overall 19 points on 8 of 9 shooting.
And we've looked at the shot chart at half. There was really nothing outside of 10 feet. Everything, there was 3 blocks, and it was really in the ring, right outside of it, and then a mid-range jump shot in the middle of the paint. So they're really not moving around as much, and you could see the Muskies offense really just featuring the 2 of them in their scheme, looking for the dish-in as they're in the corner and they're moving the ball around. So Cougars are going to have to come up with some kind of game plan, maybe double team or get some kind of backside help more in order to stop the dynamic duo of the Muskies.
Fans, as we're getting set for the second half of action, 36-29 Lakeland, the 69th annual Concordia Invitational Tournament is just around the corner. It's in 8 days from now. Don't miss your chance to be a part of this special 2-day event. To get more information and to save yourself a couple of bucks, go to cucougars.com/CIT. That's cucougars.com/CIT to get your tickets today. And for the CIT, the setup style you're seeing for our broadcast today is what we're going to be bringing you for both days, next Friday and Saturday, when Concordia, Ann Arbor, Nebraska, and Wisconsin come to town for a 2-day extravaganza. And yes, Carter and I will also be in suits on Friday. And then Sam, of course, will take over for me on Saturday.
Nothing but the best.
Well,
CIT.
yeah, and
We're
our
busting it all out.
And our director, CJ Sellner, I guess, is going to be wearing a suit, even though he's not going to be on camera.
He told me today. He took it to the dry cleaner. So we'll
today.
See. Yeah,
okay,
he did.
so it's really
he's really getting after it.
Yeah, that's really a head start. Maybe his fiance needs to maybe iron his shirt too. You never know. I think we're getting jabs from him from up top, but as we get the second half underway, top of the circle, and Amanda Majewski missing on the 3-ball, and it's controlled by Bailey Steinkamp. Cougars going right to left here on your screen. Muskies now left to right. Cougars in the home whites. Lakeland in the road blues. Annika Ray leaving it off for Steinkamp at the top. Biggest lead here for the Muskies, and it was courtesy of a late 3 at the end of the second quarter by Janae Farr, who came in off the bench with 8 points. 8 on the shot clock. Steinkamp pulling up for 3, and it rolls in for Bailey Steinkamp.
And she was 0 for 2 from shooting beforehand, and now she just drained the 3. It's something that's going to have to keep going. She's played a really quiet 8 minutes for the Cougars in the first half, and she's usually been featured on the offensive side more as of late.
And a high hot pass is out of bounds near to the near corner. It'll be Cougars ball. So a nice start here, 59 seconds in for CUC. And I'm glad you're with us on this Thursday night for some action here in the Geisman Gymnasium. Again, our producer Shelby Spitz, on graphics and replays Julia Beers. Our camera operators today, Ryan McGee, Grace Miller, and Julia Spitelli. Michaela Thornton, bounce past Steinkamp, who had that 3 on the last offensive possession that Carter alluded to a moment ago. Robinson, left angle inside, had it blocked again by Will, but it's recovered by Ray. Ray inside, blocked by Will again, and she controls it. Boy, that's what 6'3" gets you inside, Carter.
And you see that she's really not even leaving outside of the ring area on the defensive side.
That 3 short there from Majewski. As now Thornton will push the floor. Thornton, nice move inside off the glass.
Great job by Thornton just exploiting the defense right there. And we mentioned the Muskies aren't particularly a fast team, so as long as you can keep pushing in the fast break, it's going to be something to get these Cougars back in the game.
Pass outlet up top is, I think it's an official steal there for Robinson in the end. Still loose, and that's a timeout wisely called by Lauren Martin. And while we take that timeout, though, I think it's going to be just a 30-second timeout. And we'll get one more look at that here. As you see the coast-to-coast play here from Michaela Thornton inside on that nice move off the glass. So with the CUC timeout, Carl, let's look at some scores happening around the NACC right now.
So we got some more NACC action around tonight on this Thursday
It's
night.
NACction.
NACction.
There you go.
NACction. All right. One word. Edgewood is beating Aurora right now 39-32 in the start of the third quarter. MSOE is losing the Benedictine right now at halftime 23-19. And we've got Dominican and Rockford also playing tonight, but no official score has been recorded as of right now.
Again, action took place back on Tuesday. Of course, everybody getting the day off yesterday before getting set for the respective Thursday night tilts.
It's exciting stuff.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
So now you just got to get on board with the NACction and just let it roll off the tongue.
NACction.
I mean, we're going to have NACction technically on Friday.
Yeah, we are.
In the late game.
Yeah.
And those two teams saw each other back on Tuesday.
Little redemption.
Even though
the Cougars.
The crazy story of the broken down bus on the way up there, that was something to behold. As with 5 here on the shot clock, Ray finds Thornton. They got to get a shot off as Robinson inside, and that does not hit the rim, and that's going to be a shot clock violation. Either way, it was going to be Muskie's ball because it went out of bounds.
Right, but you see great ball movement there from the Cougars, though, even though it ended in the shot clock violation. If you take a better shot and you don't have to rush towards the end of that, it's a great offensive possession if you're looking from a coach scheme from Coach Martin, something to work off of and build off on the end of the game.
Janae Farr's now back into the game for Lakeland. She had those 8 points off the bench in the first half, and that 3 at the end of the second quarter to give the Muskies at the time a 7-point lead going into the locker room. As inside, kicked out there by Walden, it found Gardner. And she has it with 15 on the shot clock. Inside for Will, that's just too easy.
You get the size mismatch right there, and all it is, we've said it throughout the night, is just a little flick-up pass right there. You get to just use that, especially when you get that big body in the paint.
Steinkamp back up now to Thornton at the top. Little catch game here as Steinkamp races too strong on the 3. And the rebound by Haley Walden. Walden, the sophomore from Bradenton, Florida. Driving in right side, short on the shot. Good defense by Steinkamp against Farr. As Steinkamp into the paint, and that shot is out of bounds. It'll stay with CUC as Megan Long and Jaylene Wade come in for the Cougars, while Morgan Zeno comes in for Megan Will and the Muskies. As Thornton and Steinkamp come out for the Cougars. Robinson will have the baseline inbound with 6:40 to go here in the third as it's Hastings for 3.
Great job there by Hastings. It's going to be important for her to get shooting. And she's been electric whenever we've seen are coming. Anytime she shoots the ball, it usually leads to a Cougar run.
Robinson, active hands again. Points. Oh, I was going to say almost points off turnovers. Got ahead of myself. Is that one safe? Ball still loose. And a foul on Ray. Oh, that's a tough call on Annika Ray, the senior. Looked like she was just trying to fight for the ball there, Carter.
That's one of the tough ones you see. It's a really aggressive, like, scrappy fight right there. Sometimes you just come up on the wrong end like Ray did
and
right
you
there.
see on your screen, Lauren Martin, she kind of gave that bruh look.
The meme look right there. But, you know, you get some and you don't. But it's good. It's been a physical game as what we've seen so far.
Far for three. That's no good. And the rebound tipped back, and it finds Majewski, who misses the second chance opportunity. Long secures it, and a whistle on Zeno. And she's not pleased with that one.
Give one, take one right there, and you see there, great job by Long, grabbing up and out-rebounding right there. Zeno getting the good position and just ripping it away, making sure she has the ball and secures it.
Rachel Haskell now back in for Amanda Majewski. Haskell, the 5'5 senior, who had a season-high 11 points at MSOE back on January 4th. As quickly to the left corner, Ray for three, yes! And the Cougars are back in the lead.
You take my ball off that right there, but you know, hey, I'll come back with a three. Great look there by Ray in transition when the Muskies are in really confusion on the defensive side.
That's her first made field goal as Far's three, trying to counter, misses. And now it's Wade the other way in a 3-on-2. Almost a pass too far, but Robinson recovers as now it's Long. Now to Hastings, driving left side, too strong, and tipped over to Rachel Haskell. Gardner, who had the early action offensively for the Muskies to get him off to a good start. Helped part of that 9-2 run that the Muskies have back in the middle stages of the first quarter. As now far side, it's Haskell for three, no. Zeno racing for the offensive rebound. As Walding, right side, too strong on the hook shot, and Long the rebound. Up ahead, Hastings, putting it into a third gear for 2 points.
I love what I see so far from this Cougars team. They've really changed on the defensive side and become more aggressive. And you can see all the rebounds. Credit to Megan Long there, just being big and snatching anything that comes her way.
Haskell. Now for Gardner, guarded by Robinson. In for Zeno, turnaround shot, that's good. All the shots between Zeno and Will have come within 5 feet of the rim, Carter.
And it keeps working, and until the Cougars find a way to answer with it, it's going to be all they're going to do is just keep feeding the big men in the paint.
Megan Will set to come back in on the next dead ball as Wade in for Long, blocked by Zeno. And again, the size inside for Lakeland proves its strength there against Concordia Chicago. Haskell for three, too strong. Robinson the rebound. As Robinson almost facing a double team, and Farr comes away with the steal in the backcourt. And that's going to be a foul. The bench of Lakeland was ready to explode had that not been called. And Aaron Nestor is not pleased with it being a late whistle, and he's having words with the official in Doran Stewart as we'll get another look at this three here that came courtesy of Annika Ray in transition.
You see there, the reason why she got that open look is because the Cougars were moving the ball fast, but they were making crisp, clean passes. And you can see the differences between good shots and bad shots in the Cougars depending on how fast they're moving and getting the Muskies out of place.
Far at the line. She's a 68% free throw shooter, and she'll improve on that there. She was 22 of 32 from the line coming into action tonight. And a timeout's going to be called before the second free throw is made. It's going to be just a quick 30-second timeout that's called by Lauren Martin and the Cougars. Again, fans, Chick-fil-A is a proud sponsor of Concordia University Chicago Athletics. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Chick-fil-A in Melrose Park has you covered. Chick-fil-A, eat more chicken. And fans, whether it's close or far, Chicago Motor Coach has your group transportation needs covered. Chicago Motor Coach is proud to be the official transportation provider of CUC Athletics. So as we have this 30-second timeout here called by Lauren Martin and the Cougars, you mentioned that their defense has kind of went from a night and day approach here to start the second half.
And the Muskies right now, they're only shooting 18% from the field. It's really not been a great great shot selections from them throughout this quarter, and that's because the Cougars are putting more pressure on them. Also getting them in a little bit more of a out of sync, because they were in a sinking move where they would just get the ball to the top, swing it to the corner, get it in. Now it's more of the Muskies having to work around the Cougars on the offensive side to get the ball in. But the Cougars, one thing that we've seen of late is that they got to keep the energy going and keep it going into the fourth quarter especially.
Janae Farr now for the second free throw. That goes, and we're tied up at 42. Now you get a look at the Muskies bench there with the usual traditional celebration on the bench when a Muskie point is scored. As Ray off for Wade. Ray again kind of mishandled it. I think she wanted a three. As Wade with 13 on the shot clock finds Ray on the fake, left corner. Hastings, three ball in and out. And the rebound controlled by Megan Will. Abby Nyland now with the control. The junior from Crystal Falls, Michigan, making her 70th appearance in a Lakeland uniform. 3 minutes to go, tied at 42 in the third. Alongside Carter Gledhill, I'm Ryan Fay with you here on the Cougar Sports Network. As circling on in, shot missed there by Downs, and a nice rebound against Will by Crystal Core.
And all it is just positioning. Really, the refs are going to give you the call of over a back if you're the Muskies, but the Cougars are just getting on the right position right now. Great change, though, at the halftime break.
Wade for Ray. And a foul away from the ball is going to go on Abby Nyland inside the paint.
See, that looks like she tried to hold Megan Long, and she was trying to go on the baseline there.
It's going to be Nyland's second, and it'll be the team's second of the quarter, as Amanda Majewski is going to come back in. And also in is Madeline McGrath for the Cougars, as she plays Annika Ray. Hastings has the baseline inbound, and will throw it up to Wade at the top. 2.5 to go, tied. Wade, three. Back iron, no. Long the offensive board, and it's reset again. 15 on the shot clock. Hastings quickly in for long right side. Tries to kick it out, was deflected for a moment, as Wade with 5 on the shot clock. Top circle three. Hastings, yes! Bring it home for the Cougars. Up by 3 with 2 minutes to play in the third.
And all of that was because of the second chance points created by the rebound from Long, and great ball reversals around the top of the key to work to find a great open Hastings for the three.
Nyland nearly facing a double team. That one hits funky off the hands of Haskell. It's a 2-on-1 perhaps the other way. Hastings kept it herself. She's fouled. And that's going to go on Amanda Majewski trying to get back on defense. Actually, they're going to get that on Casey Gardner, excuse me. I thought they were going to get that on Majewski, kind of giving a bit of a back contact from behind. As you'll get a look here of Hastings at the line to shoot a pair up by 3. As Janae Farr now is going to come in for Casey Gardner. As you'll see here once again, that 3 ball to give the Cougars that 3-point lead.
And you see there, Hastings was pretty far off on the 3-point line to start that play, and she's just such a lethal shooter. And she stepped into the shot. Great ball set up there by the pass, too. So great job all around by the Cougars.
Amazing to think that these free throws, as that one is good. It's only the 4th free throw attempt here from the Cougars tonight.
And they're going to get up there. You know, it's a physical game, but it's going to be something that we've seen might come down to the wire, but they've been pretty good so far from the free throw line.
Football-style pass cross court from Will. That one, Will doesn't handle cleanly, but it'll stay with the Muskies with 14 on the shot clock. And you're just seeing this Cougars team just do the little things to just try to get under your skin. We especially saw that against Aurora in that second half. Same thing kind of applying here to Lakeland.
And it's like you mentioned the Aurora game, all it was some face guarding by Robinson and Wade, great defense. Really now it's just making sure that the Cougars are getting in the head of all the big men right now too.
Well, the answer right there to not be having opponents in her head was Janae Farr. She drains a rather big 3 to get her team within 1. As it's back to a 1-point score. Timeout called by Lakeland as you get one more look at that Farr 3. And for Janae Farr off the bench, 13 points on 4 of 9 shooting. And 3 of 7 from downtown to go along with 4 steals here for herself tonight. So again, 46-45 in favor of Concordia Chicago. And again, fans, once as well, a reminder, if you're looking for a place to relax and have some fun following a big Cougar victory, head on over to Doc Ryan's on Madison Street as they have all of your post-game needs covered. So in off the 30-second timeout called by head coach Aaron Nestor. He's had every team in his tenure be at least 2 games above 500. They were 20-6 a year ago. They were 16-4 in conference play. With that record of 72 wins and 35 losses coming into this season. And in conference play, 59-21 entering this year. Not a bad line there for Coach Nestor as McGrath has it with under a minute to go. Hastings, left angle 3, short. And the rebound is loose, and a loose ball foul is going to go on the Cougars and Madeline McGrath.
Tough break there for McGrath, too, when you got 3 Muskies around. Great aggressiveness there, though. You gotta give credit to her because every one of these Cougars has been fighting throughout this game.
To bring it ahead, Abby Nyland. With a team down by 1, that's tipped out of bounds. So far, the leading scorers for Lakeland, it's been Farr and Zeno, both with 13 points. As Charisma Robinson comes back in for the Cougars. As quickly off the inbound, the right side 3 is no good, but getting her own rebound was Majewski, and it resets to Abby Nyland. And second chance opportunities have also been a story as Will inside off the glass, and too good once again for Megan Will. Shot clock off as the Muskies have the lead by 1.
And it's a double-edged sword there too for the Cougars. You can either front on the front side of her and try to get her to do a lob pass, or you just let her play you, and it's been hard for both ways for the Cougars to defend.
With 10 to go in the quarter, Wade with 5. In for Robinson. In and out, no, and that's how the third quarter is going to come to an end. But I said to you, Carter, in the open, the last time we were here for CU Cougars women's basketball, it was a thrilling one in the least. And through 3 quarters of play, it's been pretty exciting so far, and it's a 1-point game going to the fourth quarter.
And it was a tight game then, and it's a tight game now, and it's really going to come down to the end of the wire, I believe, for both teams on just one coaching schemes and who's going to outcoach each other. You've got the veteran over here in Aaron Nestor in his 5th season. He's coached NACC championships, and he's led a team to the D3 tourney qualifier as well. But then you've got the young Coach Martin, but you've seen her throughout this game. She's done a really good job at whatever the Muskies have thrown. She's answered in some way with the zone or a new offensive scheme.
Again, alongside Carter Gledhill, I'm Ryan Fahey with you here on the Cougars Sports Network. Glad you're with us for some Thursday night action inside the Geisman Gymnasium here in River Forest, Illinois. As you'll take a look at some of the plays here that were later in the third quarter. That 3 ball was also key there from Hastings.
And she's been playing such a huge role for the Cougars offense as well. Whenever there's a clutch shot that needs to be made, she is there and she's ready to lock down and shoot whatever it takes to get her team into the game.
Our producer today is Shelby Spitz. On graphics and replay is Julia Beers. Our camera operators Ryan McGee, Grace Miller, and Julia Spitelli. And of course our fine director, a former CU baseball prodigy. You hope to be one day as well, Carter. That is the one and only CJ Selner. And again, fans, as a reminder, next weekend is the 69th annual Concordia Invitational Tournament. It'll feature these Cougars along with Concordia, Wisconsin, Ann Arbor, and Nebraska. It's just around the corner. Don't miss your chance to be a part of this special 2-day event. To get more info and to save yourself a few bucks, go to cucougars.com/CIT. And off we go for the fourth quarter of our action between the Cougars and the Muskies. Hastings, who so far through 3 quarters has got 14 points, finds Core. Nada Robinson, baseline drive. Tough angle, finds Wade. Bit of a high-risk pass. That she'll reset to the top, and 10 on the shot clock. Wade with 5. Left off for long, had it poked away, but then a foul on Janae Farr, and Farr can't believe it.
You see trying to run an inbound play there at the start of the quarter. I actually like the idea that you got coming out of the huddle. You got a kind of breaking, you got ball screens away. It's something that have been pretty effective for the Cougars throughout the year. It's just they haven't been using it a lot in this game up until now.
Comes off to Hastings off the inbound. She finds some space for three, and why not take it if you're Tara Hastings?
Get an open shot, I'll take it, and especially if you're Hastings, you're on fire right now. And she's been looking really good for the Cougars.
That's her third three-pointer made here tonight. She's 3 of 8 from downtown so far. Haskell kicks out to far left corner three. That is no good, and the Hastings rebound is secure.
Great rotation there by Annika Ray, just rolling over, seeing nobody was there. Backside.
Now she missed that three, as you mentioned her name. Ball out of bounds. It'll go to the Muskies right by the Cougars band area. You can see off the great look here off our baseline camera that you saw that inbound opportunity from Robinson, and then Hastings, she didn't really move anywhere. She just somehow gained free space at the top.
And that's what happens when you get a 2-3 zone like that. They're going to try to move back into the zone, but the problem is when you leave a sharpshooter like Hastings open, it's going to come back to bite you.
Missed shot there from Majewski, and Ray gets the rebound and leaves it off for Wade. Approaching 8.5 to go. Ray, she's got 3 points. She's made that 3 points from being a shot from the behind the three-point line. She looks for another one here and finds it.
All of that was made off of Charisma Robinson's position on that. You see, we've talked about the tuck pass that they've really worked on a lot throughout this game. And you see just drawing on the baseline and just finding Annika Ray on the top. Great movement there and great vision from the freshman guard.
And this shot there went out of bounds. It'll stay with Lakeland. 20 on the shot clock. Lauren Downs now is going to come on in as you get one more look at this good ball movement here from Concordia Chicago, Carter.
And part of that, too, is when you're in a zone, and to get the ball on the baseline, it's one of the most lethal spots, so everybody's sucked down, and you just get a wide-open shooter on the top. Great job by Ray, too, just being open and being ready to shoot.
Again, we thank Julia Beers for our great graphics and replay work tonight inside the Geisman Gymnasium. As off this steal, ball loose, Farr recovers it, though, for Lakeland. Double team, Long comes away with it, shot up, and a block foul, and she'll be at the line for a pair. Boy, what action in those 10 seconds as the foul goes on Lauren Downs, the freshman, and now it's going to be Long at the line for a couple.
And all that's just athleticism, too. It might get scrappy at times, but really, Long has been such a great addition to the Cougars this season, being that freshman guard that can just do whatever Coach Martin asks for.
Long's free throw is in and out, and you go back to that game we saw 8 nights ago. She was at the line for a pair to perhaps tie the game against Aurora, and she missed both, and time expired in the end, and it was a 4-point loss for the Cougars. She goes 1 of 2 in this sequence, and it leads up to 6.
And she was really sad about that last game, visually distraught. But you know what? The best thing that probably Coach Martin said to her is come back strong and play better, and she's really done that in the upcoming games.
Downs in the right corner driving, kicked out far as the ball rotates to the perimeter. 7:40 to go. Ball deflected, stolen by Hastings. Using her speed up the floor, left-hand layup, it's an 8-point lead.
And think about that, all the pressure that's being built in the middle of the paint, it's confusing the Muskies, and just Hastings being explosive with the speed.
Driving inside with a nice move with the hands. Lauren Downs has a quick answer, and it's back to a 6-point lead. And head coach Lauren Martin telling Wade to settle it down. Take your time here as we approach 7 minutes to go.
And it's going to be really important for the Cougars to keep doing what they're doing, run the set plays, and be ready to shoot, because you never know who's going to be taking the next shot in these clutch situations.
Wade with 5. Left off for Ray. Shot clock winding down. Floater's good for Annika Ray.
Give a little touch there right there from Ray running. You see working the shot clock, but you see the whole time everybody's staying composed. Nobody's freaking out.
Nyland to the right corner and Downs. Haskell with control. Poked away for a moment. As Downs will answer for a 3 perhaps. That's way strong and no good. And a whistle and a foul is going to be on Ray as Farr was trying to go for the second chance shot. Oh boy, what an answer with time winding down on the shot clock. Here's one more look at that one as You see great movement, and I think the other thing you talk about as well was the great composure that they had on the floor there.
And it's been showing already. They're 4 or 5 from the field right now, 2 or 3 from deep. It's been something that's been really exciting, too, that we've seen all the energy. It's once one person starts to build off each other, the Cougars can be unstoppable.
This is a team in a roster for head coach Lauren Martin. 19 total players on the roster, 10 of them freshmen. You know, we talked about growing pains even from the loss that we saw against Aurora, but, you know, this is a team that what they're showing you now, even in losses, is a sign of great things to come here for the next couple of seasons.
And all of it's just about building and being mature and learning from the mistakes, and that's all you could ask as a coach.
Well, there's a mistake for Lakeland as Long will settle it down as Ray has it at the right angle for Wade at the top with under 6 minutes to go. Should this result hold, it would be the first home win for the Cougars this season. And once again, we're seeing Wade here just settle it down and let the shot clock wind down to the final few seconds, perhaps. It's Wade with 5. Gets it to Ray for 3. Yes!
Do it once and do it again, Ray. It just seems every time she's been looking so good when it comes down to the clutch time in the shot clock.
That ball, almost stolen. A foul's going to go on Megan Long. And you got to love to see the energy, too, as you'll take one more look at the play here. As this 3 tightly contested, mind you, as well. And you see the great energy shown by the bench and head coach Lauren Martin. But, man, I mean, this is a fun young team to watch. And especially when you see these sequences where, you know, it's a high risk, high reward when you're taking it down to the final few seconds of the shot clock. But it's also smart because you try to want to preserve this lead and limit Lakeland's opportunities because you know what they can do inside. Gardner, pass stolen away. Robinson for Wade. The steals racking up here for the Cougars in this fourth quarter. Up by 9 and 5 minutes to go.
And you just see the strengths of the Cougars are coming out when the pressure is put on the Muskies. Really have not had an answer late for the Cougars.
Once again, same play style. Does it find Ray again? Let's find out. Ray's got it. Finds Wade and tried to bank it home, but it's too strong off the glass. It'll be a shot clock violation. But it does take some more time off the clock, as you mentioned, Carter, as Rachel Haskell and Abby Nyland come back in for Lakeland. And you call this a rather quicker game in terms of time because, you know, they're not doing much with the ball, that being Concordia on those possessions as Will goes in and scores. You're seeing there's the difference of quick scoring Lakeland and Concordia Chicago just taking their time.
Right, and they're taking the time because they know that they've been able to shoot the ball well, and they're able to break the zone if they want to speed it up because they figured out the scheme on the Muskies side.
Ray going for another 3. That's short. And Will the rebound. That time not much off the shot clock was taken. Haskell with her team down by 7. Leaves it off for Nyland. Under 4 minutes to go. Gardner. Back in for Nyland. Left angle. Majewski. 3 ball. That's short. And Long going to push the floor for Concordia Chicago in a 3-on-1. Hastings almost had it lost. Misses the shot. And the rebound to Casey Gardner. Now you're seeing Gardner slowing it down for Lakeland.
Big task here for Megan Long as she's guarding Will right now in the paint.
Right on cue, as you say. That shot, though, was missed. And that, I believe, is Will's second miss of the night. So the 14 points, now 7 of 9 shooting. So a rare miss from Will inside and a timeout call by Lauren Martin.
Well, you mentioned all those shots that we've taken. They've really just been inside the paint. It's like most farthest one we've seen is 10 feet. Most of them just coming from 5 feet right outside the arc. And you can just see now, like when it's come clutch time, you got a Muskies team that's not really shooting the ball really well as of now. They're only 25% from the field, so they're going to rely on their big men as much as possible.
Full timeout called by the Cougars as you see that one once again from Ray as the shot clock literally expired as the hand just got away from the ball there. That was probably the best sequence of letting the shot clock literally wind down till it couldn't no more. As you see once again, that second play on the next possession, that quick three from Ray with, again, 1 second left on the shot clock.
But the one thing that you can see from the veteran senior right now is just her desire for the ball, and she knows what she's going to do with the ball. Every time it's winding down, she's already analyzing the defense, and you can see she's either going to pull up if you're playing off, or she's going to attack you if she sees you're offset on the defensive side.
60-53, 3:12 to go. This is a Cougars team that is 0-2 so far at home, 2-6 on the road. They've lost 4 in a row coming into tonight. 1-7 in the conference. And arguably, you could have said they should have had a second win in conference last 8 nights ago against Aurora. But that just came down to free throws.
It just came down to free throws. But, again, everything now is just a learning opportunity. You mentioned 10 freshmen on this team for Coach Martin. Every one of them, whether they're their starter or they're just sitting on the bench, every one of them is learning something about gameplay. And it's going to be really exciting as we watch these Cougars grow up and mature over time.
10 freshmen, 2 sophomores, 3 juniors, and 4 seniors. I think that's 19.
I don't know.
Did I do my math right? I don't know. Math is never my strongest subject. Even though I'm doing sports, you'd think math would be a good one.
We're giving the stats on the screen. We just read them.
That's true. Wade, free throw line extended. That's short, and the rebound is out of bounds. It's going to stay with the Cougars, and that's going to be a reset of 20 seconds on the shot clock because of the mishandle by Gardner.
One thing that we've seen a little change in the Cougar scheme so far is usually we had Tara Hastings bringing up the ball at the beginning of the year. Now Jalen Wade's been bringing up the ball, and she's been doing a really good job of keeping everybody composed and really controlling the offense like a veteran player, and she's only a freshman.
The freshman from Lansing, Illinois, brought to Thornwood High School. So far in the 9 games she's played, that being Wade, she started in 3 of them. Obviously, this being her 10th game to appear in. As this appearance for Wade for 3 is short. Hastings the offensive board, and it goes back to Wade to reset. Jaylene Wade, who had 15 points against Edgewood. We saw her have 12 against Aurora, had that poked away. 6 on the shot clock. Lakeland wanted an over and back. 3 seconds. Wade, that's going to be an air ball 3 and out of bounds.
You already see the pressure that the Muskies are feeling, though, in that after the rebound there by Hastings. They started playing a little bit more pressure because they realized as the clock's winding down, they really got to just get ready, and they got to get the ball back as fast as possible because we already know if they don't get the ball back sooner or later, they're going to have to start shooting.
Inside for Will off the glass. 16 points for Megan Will, and that one, she took that in with a little aggression.
And that took a matter of maybe 7 seconds off the clock. It's something that we see from Coach Martin now. It's a little chess game, and that's why you can see Wade's holding the ball because she knows how fast the Muskies can score.
Inside, long, that's blocked away partially by Will. I don't know if they'll give Will the official block credit, but either way, her defense led that to go out of bounds. Check on that in a moment if they do credit Will for the block. As Robinson has the inbound to Hastings at the top. 10 on the shot clock. Ray for Wade. 6 on the shot clock. Hastings. Ray, left angle 3. In and out, no good, and the rebound to Will. And they did give Will the block, by the way, on that possession before the out of bounds had occurred. So that's her 3rd block. As with 80 seconds to go, Cougars by 5. Gardner, right side drive, fouled.
And that's a tough one there, especially for the Cougars because now it gives them a chance to shoot the free throw. But it's going to be something we see right there. They were setting up a set play too, just trying to get something to beat off the dribble.
Gardner, a 60% free throw shooter on the season. Makes the first. She's now 16 of 26 at the line in her sophomore season, making her 8th consecutive start. She had 10 points, 4 assists, 6 steals in the win on Tuesday against Alverno. As the second free throw puts us at 1 possession, 60-57. Madeline McGrath now comes in. That replaces Long.
Now we're seeing again the Cougars are faced with pressure. They have the lead. All they need to do is just take care of the ball and really just stick to what they've gotten them this lead so far in this fourth quarter.
Backcourt pressure by Lakeland as Wade has it. This gym's about to get loud as we approach a minute to go. Wade for Hastings and Wade, 10 on the shot clock. Draining the shot clock are the Cougars. Robinson for Ray. Inside, scores!
Great look right there. Fantastic. You see the baseline drive. You got a call now from the ref.
That's going to be a full timeout by Lauren Martin, I believe. And one more look at that play. Again, it is going to be a timeout. Bit of a awkward way to get to a timeout as all 10 players on the floor. Wasn't sure why the whistle had occurred. It's going to be a 30-second timeout. Let's get one more look at this replay here, Carter.
So you see Ray just really stepping up into the shot. That was just fantastic. We said really catch and shoot mentality right there from her. But all of that is just worked off the Cougars, finding the weak spot in the zone and really making all the Muskies collapse because they know if they get to the baseline, they're going to either have to sacrifice the layup, and they really just want to make the Cougars shoot. Too bad the hot hand, Annika Ray, is getting the ball.
For Concordia Chicago coming up, they'll hit the road for the next few days. They'll be at IIT on Saturday, and then they'll be at Alverno next Wednesday before the CIT begins on Friday when they take on Concordia, Wisconsin at 6 o'clock. And depending on how the results go from the CIT, they'll either take on Ann Arbor or Nebraska. And now a 30-second timeout called by Lakeland.
Something to keep in mind, too, it's going to be exciting to watch the women's game, especially because Concordia, Nebraska was the NAIA winner for women's basketball last year in the championship. So a lot of great competition coming to Geisman Gymnasium next week.
CUCougars.com/CIT if you want to get yourself an opportunity to see some incredible basketball next weekend here inside the Geisman Gymnasium. Of course, we got the 6 o'clock game between CUW and CUC with the 6 o'clock game. The men tip off at 8:15. And here's that one more look on that final possession for the Cougars. Again, you're just seeing their great ball movement and just, I think a big thing that we've emphasized on it, but I don't think it can be stressed enough with this young team, is poise and just calmness under duress.
But give credit to the seniors right now, and Crystal Core and Annika Ray just taking care of the ball and doing whatever they can to really just make it easy on the freshmen that are out there on the court right now.
Inbound to Nyland with 45. Gardner. Under 40 to go. Poked away for a moment. Gardner recovers inside. Shot was initially blocked by Core, but they're going to get her on a foul.
Tough break there. It looked like it was all ball, but that's a tough one there. But good thing is they wound out a lot of clock right there.
In terms of foul trouble, the highest foul count for a player for Concordia Chicago was Hastings with 3. That was Core's first. Team's fourth at the quarters. That free throw is missed by Gardner. And speaking of Gardner, she's got 4 fouls, while Janae Farr has 3. In terms of the foul trouble department, each team having committed 12 fouls so far here tonight. As Gardner makes it. McGrath comes back in. Core comes out. And now Downs will come in for Gardner. I mentioned her with the 4 fouls. You have to think that may have a factor in the substitution defensively here for head coach Aaron Nestor. And a foul immediately off the inbound as McGrath gets fouled. And they got 2 more to give, that being Lakeland, because that was the team's 3rd. So the foul there goes on Haskell.
Great job there, though. You see Robinson switching out. Not as strong as a free throw shooter as Ray. Ray's shooting 81% on the year. So you see getting her in because Muskie's going to foul any chance they get.
And Haskell gets another foul. So she had no fouls before the sequence here, as she now has 2. So now each team with no fouls to give. It'll be bonuses the rest of the way, as Janae Farr is going to come on in. And in terms of the foul count, we've been keeping an eye on here in the later stages. She's got 3 as Will comes out. Will, 16 points, 8 of 10 shooting tonight, all from within 5 feet. And quickly off the inbound again, another foul, and that's going to be on Abby Nyland, and that's her third. So Cora quickly is going to come back in. McGrath goes to the line. She's 66% at the line this year as Will and Gardner now quickly come back in.
Substitutions there for the Muskies are all focused on getting the rebound. They need to get this board on the 1-and-1
to make this a 5-point game. Yes. That's now 4 points for McGrath to go along with 4 assists, 2 rebounds, and a couple of steals. We mentioned free throws were crucial against Aurora, but it's the opposite effect here so far against Lakeland. Core now comes back in for McGrath, and a 30-second timeout is called by head coach Aaron Nestor and the Lakeland Muskies. So it's now 2 timeouts remaining for Lakeland. 1 still for head coach Lauren Martin and the Cougars. As, again, you don't want to say anything until the final zeros get on the board, but it's close to a first home victory for this Cougars team.
It's very close, and they can smell it. It's in their grasp. And credit to them for putting themselves in this position, because they were struggling early on the defensive side of the ball, trying to handle the dynamic duo of Will and Zeno, but they seem to find a way all the time of just competing and staying in every game that they're in.
6-point lead for Concordia Chicago. Their last win came at the St. Mary's New Year Classic in Maryland when they beat St. Mary's of Maryland 69-49 back on January 3rd. As Will's shot is in and out off the glass.
Rare
and a foul.
miss. Rare miss. What we talked about, all those shots that are close in.
And it's not just a rare miss, a rare open miss from Will.
Yes. You see, they had the open shot on the baseline, actually, but it wasn't designed for a three-point shot because they only are shooting 1 of 11 right now from the three-point line.
Core's at the line. She's got 4 points so far. A 66% free throw shooter. Gets the first to go. She was 4-6 at the line. And we mentioned her in the 600 rebound club. This is her 83rd game for the program. 66-58, full timeout Lakeland.
They can smell it right now. Geisman can smell a first home victory for the Cougars. And all they got to do is close out right now on the defensive side. But great job all around. You got to say, free throws, impressive so far for the Cougars.
Yeah, 7 of 10, 70%, while Lakeland, they've made theirs too, 12 of 16. That's a 75% free throw percentage. I think another key thing, too, has been some other late threes. As the timeout here called by Lakeland, and you go back to the game at Edgewood back on December 1st. This ties a season high for free throws made with 7. And again, this is a team that, you mentioned, Carter, they've had their free throw struggles this season. Well, putting those to bed here, at least so far tonight.
Yeah, and it was a haunting nightmare for probably a lot of them to go back and understand the struggles they had with the free throws in that loss to Aurora. But credit to Coach Martin and the entire Concordia Cougars program for really rallying around each other and finding their weakness and just improving on it.
Yeah, this is a team that lost 4 in a row coming into action tonight. 0-2 here at home. 1-7 in the conference, 2-10 overall in the season. And for the fans here at the Geisman Gymnasium, this is leaving a nice taste and a lasting impression going into next weekend's CIT tournament. Shot clock is off as Haskell tries to fire a shot and get a foul call, but doesn't get it. Cougars ball.
You see Hastings, great defense there. Can't call a foul if you got your hands up and you're just standing your ground.
Timeout called by the Cougars. Since 2006, Cougars are 8-11 against Lakeland, as Lakeland has won the last 3 contests. This would be the 4th, though, in a row here at home for the Cougars to beat Lakeland, perhaps. And in this series between Concordia, Chicago, and Lakeland, Concordia's won 5 of the last 6 home games. And the last time that the Cougars beat Lakeland was back on January 6th of 2018 here in an 87-78 victory. Not as much scoring here tonight, but nevertheless, it is a good feeling and just great momentum for the Cougars to build upon going on the 2-game road trip after tonight.
And it's really hard when you get on a losing streak to find some kind of positive life. You think everything's going wrong, but I think shows tonight that determination and just being strong.
56-58, the final.
You see fans are getting on their feet right now because they know how special this game was to these ladies. Great job by the Cougars battling it out and really just all around great performance on all aspects of the ball.
You know, as we take a look at the final box score, Lauren Martin is going to join me here in just a little bit. You know, on the side of Lakeland, it was Morgan Zeno and Megan Will who, quite frankly, on a combined 29 points for Lakeland, they had half the team's offense. But the thing for them is that it was just their size inside that Concordia Chicago really had a hard time competing with.
And but they found a way to win, and that's what matters. The shots were still there as they were earlier, but you know, the defense pressure that came with the Cougars, it really made them struggle and made it hard for them when they were contested shots that we saw them make earlier.
And I mentioned, too, as the post-game prayer is occurring here for the Concordia Chicago Cougars, Ray also having some clutch shots in that fourth quarter, too, because we saw that ball control from Jaylene Wade and a late shot from Ray there that really kind of helped solidify the lead.
And you know what? It's fantastic to see Ray, a great senior, stepping up in a critical role again to get the Cougars off that losing streak and give them the first win of the season.
Well, CJ, or I should say rather, Carter, I know you've got to give up the headset here for this one, as it's going to be a victorious post-game show for head coach Lauren Martin and the Concordia Chicago Cougars as we welcome you back here to our side of the broadcast booth here. First home win of the season. How about it?
Feels good. Feels good. Yes.
Definitely a good one, to say the least, and it was a victory where, as you can look at the box score, I think you'll need it probably more than I will in the end, as just one of the things that we saw from your team, just the defense and the grit throughout those 40 minutes.
Absolutely. We talked about bringing it on both ends and making a complete game, rebounding the ball, trying to limit our turnovers, have a positive assist-to-turnover ratio, and just putting it all together, both ends of the floor. And for the most part, I feel like we did that. So.
And in that game as well, we talked about this in our pregame open. Tara Hastings, what can she do for your team?
Yeah, as a freshman, she's just got such a poise and maturity to her, and this competitive edge that you don't see with, everybody. And she helps bring that out of everybody just by coming every game the same way. So
I think the point you bring up about just having that composure, and you got 10 freshmen on the team, and the time we saw you guys in that loss 8 nights ago against Aurora, despite it being a loss, though, we're seeing that growth and maturity as the season goes along for a lot of them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And a lot of credit goes to every class that we have, because our seniors have leadership, and at any day they perform great. Sophomores, juniors, and freshmen are all learning from them, and it's great to have that leadership. And our team has a philosophy that when your number is called, like, you're that next man up, and we're excited for that. So,
how do you build on this on the 2-game road trip coming up?
I feel really good about it. We're excited that we're going to get to play 2 more games before we head into CIT at home, and I think the girls just kind of needed to get over this edge because they've been competing, and now they got to feel this victory and at home. So on the road with the IIT, and then up at Alverno, and then hopefully we can have some momentum going into CIT.
Again, the CIT, cucougars.com/CIT. If you want tickets and to save a few bucks, make sure to go ahead and do that, because the Geisman Gymnasium, it was loud here at the end. It's going to be a lot louder next weekend as well. Coach, thanks for the time, and congratulations on the victory as well. Again, final score here inside the Geisman Gymnasium, 66-58, the victory for CJ Sellner, our director, and our great crew behind the scenes. For Carter Gledhill, my color commentator, I'm Ryan Fay signing off. This has been CU Cougars basketball here on the Cougars Sports Network.